actually there was a call for entries, and I saw the call and I answered the call, and I think there were around 300 entries, and I was chosen amongst the top three, so I was really excited about that. So I got a call, I think a little before Diwali, that I had got through.
So this was actually an open call put out by the India Art Fair and Apple, which was called the Digital Artist in Residence Program. So I actually applied for it and sent in a proposal, which was about this project that I had in mind. About developing these biographies. Yeah, so that's how it came about.
Well, there was a digital art residency open call by the India Art Fair, which I applied for since a lot of my practice is in digital art. And after I was chosen, I was informed that this was a digital art residency, and I was informed of the partner and the project.
So I've been using the iPad for around 2 years now, and I really like it because it's one portable. Earlier, all devices that used to, uh, you know, be for digital drawing used to be kind of either really huge or you had to look at a screen and then you had to like do the work here. So iPad is really great because you can take it outside, you can sketch with it. It's fully portable. It's got great interactivity in terms of like Procreate. You can use gestures to do a lot of your work on it. And the other thing is it's got really high powered machine. So you have something like, I personally like making a lot of layers in my work. So, and being able to fix them and, morph them and stuff like that. And allows me to make like as many layers as I want. So earlier when I used to use Photoshop on like a computer, this is even better because I can like do it really fast live and with gestures and things like that. So I love using iPad for that.
So traditionally I have been sort of drawing and painting mainly. So it's my practice has been more analog. When I actually started using the iPad, I realized that it kind of very organically transitioned because something like the Apple Pencil, for example, is so sort of seamless when it comes to getting just the right stroke or the pressure and things like that. So it was very organic, very intuitive. Yeah.
Being a technologist myself, I connect with different forms of technology. And in this residency, we were prompted to use the iPad as our tool to create art. So um I took it upon myself to understand the iPad Pro as a device, as a piece of technology, and how I could apply it for my own art. So my installation dimorphism looks at the iPad Pro from four different processes. One is through coding, one is through LiDAR scanning, one is through illustration, and one is through creating music. And I brought all four together.
I use the Apple Pencil with the iPad, and I use the Magic Keyboard also sometimes when I need it to kind of behave a bit like a laptop. So for typing and stuff like that, then I use that. But I also like read books on it and things like that.
I mainly use, I use a lot of apps and softwares from the Apple Store, for example. So I largely use Procreate, I use a combination of Photoshop and things like that. Because if you see my practice, it's very layered. So I mix video, photography, audio. A lot of the audio which you hear in these pieces is actually recorded either on the iPad or on my iPhone. It's just so easy, right? I mean, it's so accessible. It's not intrusive. Like if I want to record this right now, I can just record it, right? So I find it as an interesting tool to archive digital memories. Yeah.
For the illustration aspect, I use the Apple Pencil. The keyboard folio was extensively used when I was coding. It allowed me to take the iPad and sit in any place in the city or be inspired and just write an algorithm when I felt like it because of the mobility.
Definitely the Apple Pencil. Other than that, yes, I would again recommend like the Magic Keyboard for it. But that's about it. Like that's all you really need. And a good maybe something like what is, I wouldn't call this a gadget or a device, but something that makes your iPad really good with a pencil because it can be slippery sometimes. They use like a screen guard that feels like paper. That's what I use a lot of the time.
I think it's a magical tool, to be honest, and I think it's literally like every time you open the iPad, you're going to find something new. There are some incredible features like you can scan things, you can paint on things, you can draw on the images, photographs directly. It makes it so easy for you to cut out objects, which traditionally used to be very complex processes. So I think somebody who's maybe using it for the first time, I would just say, don't get intimidated. Just go with the flow, because the transition will be extremely organic. Yeah.
You could look at it as a piece of technology like I did. There are many different aspects to it. If you're an illustrator, of course, it's a really powerful tool for illustration if you're using Procreate. But there are many other nuances of it which I wanted to also express, like creating music. It's an amazing tool. When producing electronic music, earlier you were limited by having to have a lot of equipment or a really powerful computer and interfaces and things like that. This being a modern piece of technology breaks it all down, where you can have an entire studio in the iPad Pro where you're making music with different software simultaneously. It doesn't have to be a linear form. So that was very exciting. Then as a photographer, I think the iPad Pro and the LiDAR scanner takes photography to another, let's call it lens-based practice, to a completely different level. I don't even see what I do as photography, but it falls in the realm of photography because it's lens-based practice. So it's quite exciting that a piece of technology is kind of blurring the lines between what is possible and what is traditional. And other than that, I'm sure there are things that I personally might not have discovered. Amazing apps that are being created by these amazing developers across the world. So, if you're using the iPad and the iPad Pro, I would suggest to keep exploring, look at different processes because it's a really powerful piece of technology that can be used in many different ways.
It's been amazing because I've basically been using the most recent technology, and the best part of it is I get to make stuff that I really want to make. Like the Apple team was like, "You can do whatever you want." So I was like, "Let's do it. Let's like go for it. Like let's do the biggest thing ever," and they allowed me to do it. So I was like really happy about that.
Oh, it's been fantastic because this is the first digital residency I've been part of. I've normally done residencies which are more physical in the sense that I'm at the place creating work. So it was nice because also you kind of create your zone and you work, and then you, of course, can reach out to people remotely or online to brainstorm. And we had a lot of sessions, workshops, interactive sessions. So it was great. It was a very new format for me, and I would love to do more for sure.
Well, it's been amazing. Firstly, to work with this kind of technology, for me as a technologist, it's really exciting. To be able to present an immersive installation in a place like the India Art Fair is an absolute honor. To be able to do what I do without any limitations in the sense of what I might want to present and talk about the things that I want to do is again another amazing privilege. So really happy to be here and very glad I got selected.